Excuse me. Forget that mic. We will be adding to the agenda. We will be voting to approve Beth Noggle as our treasurer, which we have to do. We have to tell the state. And we also, as far as proxies, Mike Abb's not able to be here tonight. And he has given his stipulated proxy to Jackie Gain. So with that, we will proceed with celebrating success.
Testing, there we go. Good evening. Well, first of all, I've got one here on behalf of 255 volunteers. They would like to express their complete gratitude and thanks to Alex Sanford, my head professional at Highlands. If you could come up, please, Mr. Alex. I want to brag about this man just a little bit. He thought he was coming to do a presentation about something else, so he had no idea. But I'm going to tell you, we host a lot of it. This is my tournament, man. He calm, collective. Any problem that appears, he walks, takes care of it, delegates. Everything from our ATP, WAPT, and the AJGA with the kids that were out there. Parents, he'll go around thank him. But the volunteers, he thanks every volunteer. Takes his time, supports Ruth and her merry men and ladies that take care of it. He's the man that makes it happen, and I'm super proud. Not only in those events, all our POA events. Alex, you are the man. You've been with us for 5 years now and continue to impress us. So I want to thank you and your team. Keep leading in the way you do. We appreciate you, man. We really appreciate it. Good job, man. Thank you, Bill. All right, no presentation, Alex. You can relax. All right, this next presentation is on the same deal. Out at Highlands, Greg Jones, Bowen Holloway, Russ Miller, Marvin Medwell, Patrick Bennis, Logan Turner, James Epperson, Logan Newby, John Billingsley, and Sabanch Dale Metzer. And receiving this award is Mr. Gary Shepard. Same thing, AJGA. That calls through all the heat, all the dedication, the work they put in out there, show off that golf course off. Now, the biggest thing we see is when we have all these guests come in, they take their time, they go by, they thank them, say welcome to Highlands. They're proud of what they do, and it shows. I mean, we had a great summer, stressful summer, and thank you to Greg and the team players all around. Thank you, guys. We appreciate you.
So that was for the entire Highlands maintenance team, but we all know they start work very early in the morning, so they're all getting ready to go to sleep probably by now. So we were able to talk one of them to attend, but they've all done an outstanding job.
Okay, one item I did forget. If you plan to address the board this evening, please sign in by the door where you came in. There's a sign-in sheet there. Next up then is the approval of the minutes, the August 25th regular meeting. Is there a motion to approve those minutes? So moved. Jerry, a second?
Second.
JB? Are there any additions or corrections? Good, got them right the first time. All those in favor? You voting twice, Jackie? I thought so. How about a motion to approve the September 13th board work session meetings?
So moved.
I'll second.
Jason and, oh, she'll get it. Any additions or corrections? All in favor? Good. JAC. Rec first, okay. JAC report, recreation first.
Good evening. The summary for the meeting from September the 12th.
The amenity highlights: Branchwood. The disc golf tournament held on August 27th had 31 participants from all over the state of Arkansas. However, it also included participants from Missouri, Kansas, and California. A portion of the entry fees that each participant pays goes directly to the POA for support of the grounds. Blowing Springs, members are looking for food options while visiting the Gear Garden. Tyree Park. It was noted that several signs are fading and should be updated to improve aesthetics. The infant swing is showing signs of wear and should be replaced, and there's some erosion. Asphalt deterioration is considerable at the main drainage culvert. Granton Park, which is a new amenity we just started reviewing. 2 grill stations were loose and detached from their pedestals, requiring repair. Lake Ann, there is a concrete picnic table that's beginning to deteriorate, to be replaced. The gun ranges, on the pistol range, the yellow stop, no shooting marker is faded and needs repainted. And finally, and if you didn't hear anything else tonight, please listen to this one. In regards to the trails and the greenways, we are recommending to establishing construction standards or permitting for private trails that are being built through POA common property leading to the formal trail systems. This is needed to protect the land from erosion as more people are continuing to construct their own trails. POA staff reports: Tom reminded everyone to vote and participate in the recent surveys regarding the 5-year plan in Burksdale. Rick received approval from the city for a new dock at Lake Windsor Dam, and they've ordered a home plate for the ball field at Loch Lomond Recreation Complex. John informed us over 120 people attended the open house out at the gun ranges. Classes are at capacity, but we are heading into hunting season, which would explain that. And finally, Joan reminded us that classes and equipment are moving to Medfield. Reardon's closed. And she reminded us of all the family fun activities coming up: dog days of summer, flea in the park, and the not-so-haunted mini golf. Our next committee meeting will be October 10th here in the boardroom. Thank you.
Thank you. Well, you can do lakes or golf? Let's do golf. Ruth?
Okay. I got to remind you again how hot it was this month, so I'll just preface that for the whole conference. Joint Advisory Committee met September 14th, and Darrell Muldoon introduced Trevor Brunson as a supervisor of golf operations, and we're excited to have him, and it looks exciting for him to be here. Everybody in the committee thanked Keith and the superintendents for the great job they were doing under very difficult conditions this year, and it was thank a superintendent day earlier, but we thanked them at the same time. Maintenance, I usually don't get that.
Caught you.
Maintenance, Keith, green aeration schedules for bent grass courses started this week on Monday, and are posted on the website, the schedule. Pre-emergence were gone down on most golf courses. The red tee boxes at Highlands is complete. They're kind of cool. Most of the tee boxes are about 20 yards wide and 30 feet long, so it allows for a lot of movement with tees because so many people are now using the red ones. No play until April of 23 on the red tee boxes. They need to protect them through the winter months. August 15th, all Bermuda grass will take up on height about a ½ inch. So when everybody notices that grass is getting higher, it really is. It's not an illusion. Darrell Muldoon with golf operations. August golf rounds are 23,006, up by 1,720 over last August. And year to date, 116,703, up 630 over last year. And member rounds are down a little bit for the year, but guest rounds are up considerable, 6,044 over last year. Range buckets continue to go up, over 7,972 in August, up 1,032 buckets over last year. It's a lot of practice, folks. Pro Shop merchandise finished 146% above budget, and it's great to see all the shops reach their budget through the 3rd month in a row. AJGA was held in Highlands last weekend. It was very successful, as was the 4A high school golf tournament, was held on Monday of this week, and it was very well received and very well done. Alex had tournaments. All August tournaments were in participation. All events in August were up in participation. The parent-child tournament, men's club tournament, prostate cancer tournament, all had extra people. Rally in the Pink is October 8th, it's still time to sign up. And in October, Alex and Daryl will look at the calendar for next year's tournament schedule. So they always go about 6 months ahead of time. Old business, Keith explained and investigated numbers using green sand in the buckets and bottles. It's approximately $70,000 extra to fill them. We figured that was way too expensive to go ahead with because it could better use the funds for other ideas. New business, Clay Merritt, Friends of the Highlands, wanted to propose provide ball mark repair tools with Highlands name on it to help fix the ball marks on the holes. Purchased by the Friends of the Highlands, it was voted unanimously to do so, and please use them on other courses as well as Highlands because all courses need it. You will notice after the aeration that a lot of the ball marks go away. That doesn't mean you don't have one, it means they simply get covered up with that. Next regular committee meeting is Wednesday, October 12th at 4 o'clock. Any questions?
No, I don't have a question, Ruth, but thank you for the report. I will say that the 4A district tournament, there was a young lady that was a freshman from Gravett High School.
Yes, she was.
She happens to be the daughter of Daryl Muldoon. She had low score and medalist at an 82.
82.
So,
And
proud
she
of
shot very
her.
well.
And the Gravett girls golf team is going to state as a team. So good stuff.
I happen to be in her group, and she's got a beautiful game.
Yes, she does.
Fun to watch.
Thanks,
And
Ruth.
Freshman's the best part.
Yeah.
Thank you, Ruth. Sounds like golf is rocking and rolling.
Yeah.
Good deal. Lakes?
Lakes report, Marina Manager Trey reported that the marina at Loch Lomond has entered into the fall hours, 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. Tuesday through Thursday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Friday to Sunday. October 16 will be the last day the marina will be open for the 22 season. Winter maintenance activities at the marina will include applicable board and bumper replacement on the marina docks. Rick Eccles reminded members of the Lake Avalon drawdown beginning November 14th and ending March 6th of 23. The progression of the drawdown will be dependent upon the weather, precipitation. Leaf pack and silt at the beach waterfront will be removed, as well as a gravel bar near the boat launch. Erosion control concrete work will also be done at the spillway stream area. The Lake Ann sinkhole has been filled and fencing removed. Lake Ann will be allowed to refill with monitoring of any possible leaks. The POA received approval of a variance from the Bella Vista Planning Commission for construction of a dock on Lake Windsor, which was included in the 22 budget. And limited fertilization occurred on the POA lakes this year.
Thank you. Yes.
As liaison for the rec committee, I didn't say anything during the meeting because that's not my role. But I do have some questions and comments concerning reports that were given at the committee. Is now an appropriate time to bring them up?
I suppose it would be. How lengthy are these?
Not long.
Okay.
One of the comments that Joan made was that the POA gifted the Burksdale West to the trails. And I think that was not exactly true. It was a licensing agreement, even though it is long-term. But she also talked about that the cart path or the walking trail is now finished, and I went to look at it, and it is on the inner circle, not on the outer circle as was in the diagram when we voted to approve it. It looks like it's maybe half the distance of what it would have been had it been put in the outer circle, closer to where the old golf cart path was. As well, the pavilion pad is extremely small. It looks like it's going to have 3 pillars on each side. She said it would probably be like 10 by 20 feet. She was just guessing. I looked at it from the parking lot, so I wasn't able to judge, but it is going to be very small, and it is inside the trees. Additionally, she talked about the playground equipment, and she said that they're going to bring in natural equipment, which would be rocks and boulders and logs for the children to climb on. And I have a concern about that. You know, who's going to keep the snakes away? Who's going to weed eat around them? Who does all the maintenance on that stuff? I was under the impression we were going to have traditional playground equipment with where you climb on the bars and you go down the slide, and also she also indicated that the equipment would be there on the inside rather than over there behind Casey's, where the old number 12 green was. So I found all those things concerning based on what we were told when we voted to approve the trails and the licensing agreement.
I know the answer to one of those right off, that the natural playground area was the choice, and it was voted on by the kids. That's what they picked. So I would imagine that it will be very well done, and there will, I can't answer to the snakes. They're usually smart enough to stay away, but it will be maintained.
Yeah. And we always talked about having a small pavilion, small family-sized pavilion. That's what we talked about. We didn't talk about a big blockbuster.
Are we going to have benches as well?
I'm sorry?
Seating benches around so that we can, and what's going to be done with all the other land that's there that is like between the trees in the center and the businesses and the creeks?
Yeah, well, they're not done with all the work, but we are going to have part of the idea was having an open space where people could, play catch and throw frisbees and those types of things. She did misspeak about gifting the trails because no, that's a 25-year licensing agreement. And David is correct. It's about when the board voted on it, we had a kids night here at BV, and we had two big storyboards with examples of two different types of playground equipment. One was like traditional with swings and monkey bars and so forth, and then the other one was more natural with like logs and rocks that you can climb on. And the kids overwhelmingly selected the natural playground because what I heard was kids were saying they played with swings, they played with monkey bars and so forth, and they wanted something different. So, and I actually still have those storyboards in my closet in my office. So if you wanted to see it, you can see it yourself with all the, we had them put on stickers on the ones that they liked. So we let the kids choose, which is kind of neat.
Was the size of the trail shortened?
I'd have to look at it. I don't know. I don't remember. I know that they're not done yet. So
They're not going to finish until we get that bridge out, right?
yeah, what David's saying. Part of the reason why they're stalling on the parking lot area and so forth is because remember the board voted to remove the abandoned bridge that hasn't been used since 15, and we're going to have heavy equipment come through, and so we want to make sure we don't build a parking lot and then destroy the parking lot and so forth. So they're not 100% done with that area yet. So.
Well, I know I went back and watched the old meetings just to make sure I was clear on what we discussed last summer. And in June, Jerry brought up and Tia seconded the idea of putting in a senior adult type of playground, something that they could take advantage of.
Was it voted upon by the entire board?
No, we didn't vote on it, but it was just an idea, and I never heard it brought up again at any of the subsequent meetings.
Well, we definitely could consider that as a part of the 5-year strategic plan, but if the entire board didn't vote on it, then we wouldn't have acted upon
I
it.
just bring it up that it was suggested by a couple of board members and didn't really seem to go anywhere.
That didn't seem to go anywhere. So not to say that it won't in the future, but at that time, it just kind of nothing ever happened with it, so. yeah. Anything else?
That's it.
Okay. Next up is the financial reports. Is Beth going to jump right in?
Nope. We gave her the option. Don't want to scare her away in her first week. So we're going to present the financials. There is some information that is omitted. Stacy, who's been awesome in the transition, is actually this weekend going to be working on some of the reports that were missing. In your board packet, you'll see that there was a memo that we said, additional reports forthcoming. So this isn't as comprehensive as it normally is. Once we get those reports, then we'll get those to you. And Beth and Stacy are already talking about when they're going to be able to meet a few times to have a smooth transition. Once again, my compliments to Stacy for allowing us to have such a smooth transition. It speaks to her character. So here are the financials for August. You see that revenue for the month was up by $307,000 compared to budget. Profit was up by 247. Expenses were way over budget, and as I get into more of the detail, what you're going to see is all those expenses we've been talking about are catching up. You'll see that a lot of them were deferred. We have experienced a lot of supply chain issues. And just getting stuff is very challenging. So a little bit of a challenging month, not too distressing. We're still having an outstanding year. So let's talk about year to date. We're better than budget by $3 million. This is when you say wow.
It is a wow.
But even with that, year-to-date expenses only over by 2, so that's great, and the variance is $2.5 million. Here it is departmentally. General income's doing really well. Legal, we had another online auction last week, brought in $81,700. We have a judicial auction next week with 35 additional lots, so legal's doing a great job. Water, Charlie is here, and water continues to do an outstanding job, and so forth. Pretty much all the departments are doing great. A couple at the bottom are off, but they're not off horribly. They're still within striking distance for the end of the year. Here's the POA, and this is a really nice picture of the Gear Garden with the brand new Edison lights installed, and you can see all the new concrete and the new picnic tables and so forth, so it's really heading in the right direction. You'll see for the month of August, revenue once again was better than budget, better by $174,000. A lot of that was food and beverage, so inherently you're going to have an increase in the cost of sales, so that's going to be over budget. When you sell more food, you have more product that you have to purchase. Gross profit up by 118. Salaries were over, and other expenses were over. We're just, we're catching up, and we're definitely very, very busy. Variances on the right-hand side, you'll see a la carte food at BV Bar and Grill, plus 38,000, Lake Point plus 12,000, Highlands plus 3,000. Recreation, so Joan is still very busy with the recreation department, plus 5. Assessments plus 25,000. That speaks to our collections. And POA lot resale, I mentioned the online auction plus 26,000. Expenses. Health was over. We're self-insured, highly volatile month to month, just depends upon claims. Year to date, we're doing we're doing fine, but on a month-to-month, they're always very volatile. Fuel, everybody's getting hit by increased fuel prices. Trafalgar Fire, that's mainly legal fees, that's wrapping up the lawsuit and so forth. Postage up. Credit cards, when you do more in revenue, you're going to do more in credit cards. Bad debt expense is actually better. And here is a bar chart just showing revenue, how well we're doing year to date. Food and beverage is over budget by $357,000. You'll see how great BV Bar and Grill is doing, plus 178. Lake Point is doing 98,000 better. Pro Shops plus 133,000. Guest fees up 104. Member fees, unfortunately, are down 46,000, and cart rentals is up 40,000. Assessments are up 177,000. That's collections. Then our collections team making sure that everybody is paying, or as many people as possible are paying. Recreation classes plus 36. RV park doing great, 13. So cost of sales, once again, food and beverage. Those are both going to go up when you have revenue go up. Those go up. Same thing with golf merchandise. When you sell more merchandise, expenses are going to go up. So overall, EBITDA is up $2.1 million. So we're just doing really, really well. And one note: if you're comparing to prior year, we have the $2 million lawsuit settlement in last year's numbers. So that causes a large delta when you're doing that comparison. By category, you can see how each of the departments are doing. And once again, all these, this report will be available on our website. The financials that we have at hand are already on our website, and additional reports will be added. Here's water, and revenue is up by $134,000. Charlie was telling me earlier today that year to date we've had how many water meters installed?
Through July, we had 429.
429 year to date, and last year we had
422 for the entire year.
422 for the entire year. So just a huge number of increase, and that's what's driving some of the revenue. Cost of sales, of course, that's going to go up. When you sell more, you're going to sell more water, so you have more costs. Salaries are up for the month of August, and expenses, just like with the POA, some of these expenses are catching up. Year to date, water sales are up by 181,000. New connections up 293. Water capital buy-in 339. Late fees up 3. Cost of sales, once again, that's going to increase when you do more in sales. Overall payroll, full-time is up by 44,000, but you'll see that overtime is over. We've had to work some of our employees a lot because we've been short-staffed, and we'd rather have those full-time people, but we've struggled, so we have a lot of overtime. The remaining ones, maintenance on equipment, water distribution expenses, a lot of those, meter installation, that's all related to with the increase in the additional meters added. It costs us more to buy those meters, and that's why those expenses go up. And then the road and street supplies go up because, okay, so we cut across the road to add another meter, then we have to fill in that area, and that's where those expenses come up. So. And here it is by expense category. And then here's the one pager, just recapping how we're doing in each of the departments. We're just really doing well so far this year, and we're just very pleased. You'll notice in the bottom right-hand corner there's some information that's omitted because that's the information we don't yet have. We'll get it this weekend. And we'll be able to provide that information to the board and to the community. But overall, just a great year. Any questions? Outstanding.
Thank you. Next item is the open forum. We have a member signed up, Chris Bryant from Reardon Lane.
Hi. I don't know if I'll need this thing, I've got a pretty loud voice. So my name is Chris Bryant. This is Sunny. She has come with me to represent Greens One here in Bella Vista, who, those of you that
Into
don't
the
know
micro.
who we are.
Into the mic.
Sorry. For
You
those
got
of
it.
you who don't know who we are at Greens One, we are one of the oldest running resorts here in the Northwest Arkansas area. We helped shape Bella Vista from the beginning. I just wanted to kind of come in front of you guys and kind of introduce myself or reintroduce myself. I used to be the hospitality manager there. I'm now the general manager there, asked to come back on because we have eliminated the past property management company as well as the past general management that was involved there. So with that being said, I just want to apologize to any of you here at the board or the community if any of them have brought ill will against you all or brought a bad name to our facility. So anyway, we are really here just to kind of talk about the short-term rental, what you guys have kind of been going on with that. I know that I talked to Doug Fowler not long ago. I know that the Bella Vista is thinking about implementing a 600 limit short-term rental cap for people to come in and operate short-term rentals. Of course, we're kind of in that weird limbo situation where we're not really R1, we're not really R2, so how are we affected by that? And that's really what we were coming to kind of get a little clarification on, because now that we've kind of stepped into things, we haven't really been following what's been going on preceding our entrance. So if you guys had any enlightenment for us on that and maybe on any rezoning that we may be able to take advantage of to kind of get us in more of a honed little area of we can call ourselves this. And anything that you guys can give us right now to give us a start on a path to success to continue on would be great.
Y'all done?
Yeah.
Okay,
done.
I got it. So I just want to make sure I didn't interrupt you and everything like that. So a couple of, we've worked before.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
what we can do is maybe meet and go through these things. So a little bit of an issue here. So this is the POA board. It's not the city. So Doug Fowler is actually on the city council. So when you're talking about short-term rentals and the possible new laws that they're considering, that is on the city side. The POA is not involved in that at all.
Well, he gave me this meeting, so I was like, oh, okay.
Oh, huh? Sure.
I'm on the city side as well. What I recommend you to do is to go to the city council meeting next Monday evening. That's where the discussion is on the short-term rentals. There are two possible ordinances out there. I have a feeling that they'll all be kind of put together under one. It's looking really well. We did talk about you not you personally.
Yes, I know.
The other night, and you need to go to city council.
Okay.
And be there on Monday night at 6:30.
Absolutely.
Okay?
Absolutely, we will be.
Also regarding the zoning, so not everybody is aware of this. When the city was created in '07, in some cases, well, in a lot of cases, areas were zoned incorrectly.
Yeah, it was just like, here we go.
Yeah,
Let's go.
including several areas in that are owned by the POA. So actually, I've been working with the city to make sure that POA properties are zoned correctly. We have about 20 that are zoned incorrectly.
Okay.
So what I can do is I can share some of that knowledge with you, and maybe we can go down that path together. You know, I can't do it for you.
Right, absolutely.
But I can at least tell you what I've learned.
Okay.
And we're trying to get everything right to make sure that we're zoned correctly. Just because they did it wrong in '07, well, let's get it fixed.
Okay.
One more thing.
Yes.
There is a tabled suggestion from the Planning Commission to the City Council about zoning. And we are, again, we're waiting to see what the ordinance is going to be. And at that time, when it's voted on, I'm fairly sure that the zoning will come back off of the table and be voted on. We are very concerned about you and the fact that you're kind of special.
Thank you.
Okay.
I appreciate that acknowledgement very much, because we're proud to be a part of Bella Vista, and we do strive to bring a lot of good tax dollars in here with the folks that we've got, coming in guest-wise, so.
Well,
yeah.
you know how to get a hold of me. Why don't you
Absolutely.
send me an email
Sure.
or give me a call, and we'll set up a meeting. And but we've worked with each other
Absolutely.
before, so
Yes.
we can help each other out.
That sounds wonderful. Thank you all for your time very much. It's nice to meet all of you. Yes, Monday night. Yes. We will be
Yeah, and
there.
congratulations on being the manager.
Thank you. It's been a struggle, but we are getting there.
Outstanding.
We are gonna get there. Thank you, guys.
Okay, thank you, Chris. Chris is the only one who signed in to speak. Was there anybody else who wanted to speak to the board? Okay, moving on then. The next up, the update on the assessment vote.
So this one and the next one on the agenda are kind of combined. Right now, as of about an hour ago, we were at 41.8% with 12 days left. So it looks like we're going to make it. So if you have not yet voted, please do so, but we're definitely trending in that direction. With that being said, if anybody has gotten to know me, they always know that I always have a plan A and a plan B in mind, because while we're trending in the direction of getting quorum, we can't be guaranteed that we'll get to quorum. And what we're concerned about is if we don't reach quorum and we go back out again, we want to do so as quickly as possible for a couple different reasons. From the member experience, many of our members come in early December. They want to pay their golf fees, and if we don't know what they are, the quicker we find out the resolution of the vote, the better. It makes it easier on budgeting, and it just in planning in general. So in your board packet, you'll see that what we're proposing as a plan B, and then hopefully we don't have to use it at all, and then we make the 50% quorum. But in accordance with our governing documents, if in the first vote we are unable to reach a 50% quorum, we can go back out with the exact same question within 90 days, and the quorum requirement drops from 50% down to 25%. Now, we wouldn't waste our time or energy to do this if at least 51%, which is required in our governing documents for the assessment to be approved, we wouldn't do this if we didn't get it in the first place. So we've prepared a rather lengthy motion that we're suggesting the board consider. We have one change to this. We spoke with the inspectors of election earlier today, and they had an update. If you look down towards the very bottom of this, and you see on the right-hand side where it says October 24th, we would like to change that to October 31st. I had mentioned that we would have a cutoff date of October 17th, which is earlier in that sentence, and then I mentioned that we would intend to have it hit the mail on the 24th, and he was like, "Did I tell you that?" No, that's not enough time. I needed a little more time. So, and that's part of the reason why I spoke with him today, is I just want to make sure. So that's the only change that we are requesting. But this is strictly Plan B. This will allow us, so we would have the ballots out. We'd have the determination of who is in good standing by October 17th, as opposed to waiting all the way to the end of October when the regular meeting occurs, and then we have to have a lag time when we do the cut as to who's in good standing, and then add more weeks on because we have to then print all the ballots and mail them out, and we're looking at towards the end of the year if we don't act quicker. So this will allow us to act quicker by taking the vote now. Once again, I continue to speak with a lot of property owners, and I'm very optimistic that if we get quorum, we're going to get a favorable outcome. Now, once again, and Jason asked me to mention this at the last meeting, I don't know the outcome. I have no idea what's going on, other than when you vote, you'll notice on the bottom, you can go down and you can see the percentage that have voted. Everybody can see that. So you can actually go back in with your passcode, and you can't vote again, but you can see what the percentage is. So that's all I know. I know no more than anybody else, but I probably talk to more people than anybody else, more members, and I have an overall favorable feel, but I'm always thinking about Plan B, and this memo is all about Plan B.
So that's an update on the assessment vote. The next item listed on the agenda.
I have one question on that. So if
Jackie.
we move the mail out a week, we'll still keep December 6th? as
Correct.
the-
We, according to our governing documents, the ballots must be sent, that's the key word, sent, 30 days prior to the end, to the conclusion. That gives us 36 days. So it gives us 6 extra days in case their printer dies or something crazy. But as long as it is postmarked by the 31st, which we've been told that it will be, then we'll be in compliance with our governing documents, which is covered in the declaration.
Well, since we're talking about it, we'll skip item 10 on the agenda temporarily. And who will make that lengthy motion?
I'll be glad to do that for you.
JB?
It is lengthy. At the conclusion of the assessment increase vote on October the 4th, if the quorum requirement of 50% is not reached, but at least 51% of those who voted did so in favor of the proposed assessment increase, the Board of Directors authorizes a second vote to be taken. For the second vote, the proposed increase in assessments will be the same as the first vote, with a $3 increase per month for improved property owners and no increase to the unimproved property owners. In accordance with the governing documents, the quorum requirement for the second vote will be 25%. The cutoff date for members in good standing to participate in the second vote will be October 17th. Ballots and proxies will be sent on October the 31st, with the vote concluding on December the 6th at 6 p.m. A special meeting of the membership will take place on December the 6th at 6 p.m. at Lake Point Events Center, with the outcome of the vote revealed at this meeting. The cost of this second vote is estimated at $40,000.
Now, who wants the easy job of doing a second?
I'll second.
Chair Barron will second that. Do we have further discussion on this? Here.
I'll make a comment.
Yes, Jackie?
I think the way this is written, it's important to point out that we are proposing a second vote only if we reach 51% on the not meeting quorum on the first vote. And I think that's a key understanding for people to take away, is that we wouldn't be proposing this if it doesn't get 51%.
That
on
is
this first.
correct.
In favor of it, correct.
Right.
Yeah, good call.
Mr. Higgins?
The other thing, I think that's a very good point, Jackie. I think another point to keep in mind is that this is what is called for under our governing documents. So we're bound by our governing documents, and we have to play by those rules. These are the rules set forth, and this is the way that is called for this kind of procedure. So we're following exactly what we're allowed to do in the way we're allowed to do it. We just wanted to point that out.
Thank you. Sandy?
Do we have a plan C if we reach quorum and unfortunately it doesn't pass?
If we reach quorum, if it doesn't pass, whether we reach quorum or don't reach quorum, if we don't get at least 51%, then the board has indicated previously, now they haven't taken a finalizing vote, but select amenity usage fees would increase for 23.
And we wouldn't do another vote with, say, like a 2 and 1? 2 for improved and 1 for unimproved?
If we were to do that, we would, it would revert back to the 50% requirement again. But that has not been contemplated by the board. What has been contemplated is that we would increase the minimum.
And I'm
usage fee.
suggesting it only if we meet quorum, but it doesn't pass. You
That
know
would
what I'm
be-
saying?
Yeah,
Enough
yeah,
people voted, but it didn't pass.
I think at that point, the board would have to take a step back and consider all the options and go from there.
At that point, we would be well into the budgeting process.
Yeah, we'd have to consider that for 24, 23, or potentially 24.
Yeah.
Except for that October 4th, we're gonna know the outcome of the current election, so there wouldn't be any reason why you couldn't go ahead with it immediately instead of rerunning the same election.
But in the word of immediately, it would have to be voted upon at the regular meeting at the end of October, and then you add those dates, and so you're looking at a conclusion potentially in early 23. If the board wanted to go that route, that is.
Unless we make a motion tonight.
You could.
Yeah, we would not get the results of an election on those terms in time for the budgeting process. So the budgeting process would have to be done after the board approves and determines what fees will be for the next year. And that would give us time to figure out what we might want to do on a next approach to an assessment increase in the event that this one fails. So, as I said, we're well into the budgeting process. I know that the department heads are working diligently to polish their crystal balls and figure out what prices are going to be next year. And, you know, we have some of this hitting us later tonight in the meeting with these cost overruns. And it's probably not voodoo, it's crystal ball stuff.
Crystal ball
But
stuff.
we just
But,
roll
yeah,
with the punches, so
But we would need, if we were, the board would go that route.
we'd have time.
Management would need some time to redo all the paperwork, because right now, if we go for a second time, it's rinse and repeat. You know, it's just, it's pretty much a redo of the first one, just so we can get the 25% quorum. But if we went a different route, we would have to at least make some changes to our documentation. So we'd probably need the additional time anyways.
So for clarification, because that was a good thought of Sandy's, is that if, what we're saying is if we were to make a motion for that possibility, we're saying that we really could not achieve that in the calendar year of 2022. Is that what I'm hearing?
Yeah,
That it would
I-
basically spill over into 23
Yeah.
because it wouldn't be the rinse and repeat. It would take, we would need longer than to mail these out on October 31st for
Correct.
that motion.
What I would recommend is if the effort fails, the board step back and take a breath. Let's determine what strategy we want to take going forward. Do we want to increase the amenity usage fees? Do we want to change the plan and go 2-in-1? What have you? But I would recommend the board take a step back. But at this point, like I said, like I started the whole thing, I'm very optimistic that we're going to reach quorum, and I'm very optimistic that the results are going to be positive.
So we'll get the results. We'll go from there. If this item moves forward, we'll know what Plan B is. And if we have to have a Plan C, we'll take our time and figure it out. So, okay, that being said, all those in favor of the motion before the board, signify by saying aye or raise your hand. Any opposed? Director Abb is opposed. So the motion carries. Now we can go back to item 10, the update on the 5-year strategic plan and member surveys,
So,
plural.
The comments have been really well done. We've been receiving a lot of great comments. I think we are at 1,300 comments on Burksdale South and 1,700 comments on the 5-year plan. So we're getting some good comments left. We have at least 20 days left, and we'll start sending out reminders, but we're not sending out reminders on the surveys right now because we're inundating people with the vote and everything. It's just, we don't want to overdo it right now. So once the vote passes, we're going to start promoting that. But so far, we're getting good responses, and we're getting a lot of great info. And I'm not going to tell you anything because I don't want to put any thought in anybody's mind. I want a clean slate. I want, tell us what you think. I don't want to say that the prevailing comment so far is this. I don't want to say that at all because. But it's going really well. I'm very pleased with the number of responses that we received.
Good deal. We will move forward with those surveys and the 5-year strategic plan when we get the information. The next up, proposed changes to policy 1.01, member access to association information. There will be a vote on this. This will be the first of 2 required readings if it passes. So 101.
So this was discussed by the Rules and Regulations Committee and moved forward. It is already on our website with the changes indicated. I think one of the big changes on the second page under number 8, personal information, you'll see that we're talking about wages and salary, but we also mention in here, which is always important, the association is required to file on an annual basis IRS Forms 990 and 990T, which include compensation information on key employees. IRS Forms 990 and 990T are to be made available to the members on the association website, which we do, and that they're currently available, and the new one will be posted November 14th, 15th, I can't remember. But people ask about that. It's a valid question, and we always direct people to our website.
Any questions, comments?
The rest of this is just really changing out verbiage to make more sense.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think we've mentioned this multiple times,
Yeah.
but the committee is going through and just making the language easier to understand on, not on necessarily on this one, but on the next 2. We use more accounting terminology and less legal terminology. We want our membership to be able to understand what they're reading.
So Doug is general counsel, not the staff attorney, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. Do we need to make a motion on this?
Absolutely.
You do.
Okay. We need a motion.
I'll make you a motion. Go ahead. I make a motion to approve changes to policy 1.01, members' access to association information, which were recommended by the Rules and Regulation Committee. This will be the first of 2 required votes.
Thank you, Jerry. Second? Second. Jason seconds that. Discussions? Okay, this is the second, excuse me, this is the first
First read,
vote.
first.
So you have a chance to change your mind next week, next month. All those in favor? 9-0.
And I want to mention, for those at home, sometimes we go through the board goes through these motions very quickly. Always want to remind people that, this policy was fully discussed at the Rules and Regulation Committee meeting, which is that video of that meeting is available on our website. It was also discussed at the work session. That video is also available on our website. So when by the time the board gets to these items in the regular meeting, the discussion isn't as lengthy. And so if you only view this meeting, it'll appear that they're going very quickly, but actually if you do a little history, you'll see that they actually have discussed this in a lot of detail.
Next up is potential second vote on policy 7.03, which was voted in the affirmative last month. the budget. Do we have a motion to do a second vote on this one?
I'll make it.
Okay,
Make a motion to approve the changes to policy 7.03, the budget, which were recommended by the Rules and Regulations Committee. This will be the second and final vote.
thank you. A second on that? Sandy? Do we have any questions? This is the one, this is the final vote, so if you got any. Hearing none, seeing none, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor? It passes. Can I have a motion on policy 8.14? Jan?
I make a motion to approve changes to policy 8.14, approval and change of job scope procedures for capital projects, which were recommended by the Rules and Regulations Committee. This will be the second and final vote.
Thank you. A second on that.
Second.
Jerry Barron. Any discussion on this one? Got some red lines on this one. Changes.
Remember doing like this?
I was over there.
Okay, nobody has any questions? I'll call for the vote. All those in favor of the changes, second approval. Opposed? Everybody voted. 9-0. Next up, we're getting close to the end. We'll get there. Here's the one I referred to earlier about the economy messing us up. We have capital projects that are over budget and a bid, three bid waiver request.
So I'm going to have Charlie. Charlie Holt is in charge of our water department. And we have 3 water projects that have come up. These are included in the 2020 capital budget, so they were approved by the board. Unfortunately, you're hearing this all too often this year, is the projects are coming in slow, and because it's hard to get because of supply chain issues, and they're coming in over budget. One of them is the air tower renovation. It was originally budgeted for $140,000. It's coming in at $170,000. Trafalgar tower ladder install was budgeted for $14,000, came in at $18,400. London tower ladder install, same thing. In accordance with our policies, if a capital project is in excess of 10%, it requires a vote of the board. Additionally, our policies require us to get 3 bids. Charlie went national and was only able to get 2 bids. So maybe you could add a little more color to what I've talked about.
Yes, as Tom said, it's more of the same in the construction order right now. The estimates that we were operating off of are a year old at this point. We went out to bid recently, and water tower work is very specialized. It's not something local contractors do. We usually have to go to national level contractors to get this work done, and it was hard just to get bids at all. So we were able to get 2 bids, and so we are asking for the board to approve us to proceed with the lowest bid for these 3 capital projects.
And he received the second bid after the work session occurred. And we're trying to get these projects completed, hopefully before the end of the year. In our next regular board meeting that we could vote upon to go through the normal process of presenting this to the work session and so forth, would require us to delay Charlie by a month and a week. While we don't like skipping the work session and going straight to the regular meeting, this is a little bit of an extreme situation where we don't want to delay him when Charlie's trying to get the job done in the year that we had originally planned to do it.
it happens. You don't want to take the chance that somebody pulls their bid because you waited too long to react. So can I have a motion, put into motion, put all three of these projects into one? Who will make that motion?
I'll
Jason?
make a motion granting the waiver of the three bid equipment and a waiver on the projects coming in 10% over budget for the, how'd you say that, Ari? Air tower renovation, the Trafalgar Tower ladder install, and the London Tower ladder install.
Thank you, Jason. A second on that? Jackie? Do we have any discussion?
Just one point, and that is, if we wait, there's no guarantee, and certainly we don't think the price is gonna go down, given the way things are looking, so I think time is of the essence, and in this case, expediency makes a lot of sense.
I agree. All those in favor signify by saying aye or raise your hand. 9-0. That brings us to the final item on the agenda, which we added earlier. I would like to hear
Thank you, Charlie.
a nomination for Beth Noggle as our treasurer of the corporation. Who will make that motion?
I'll make it. Hey, I'm a motion man tonight. Make them, and it's not written, so I'm going off the cuff, so if I don't do it right, let me make the motion to, how was that? Appoint Beth Noggle, we even said, well, I remember that, Beth Noggle as the treasurer. Correct?
A second on that?
Second.
Second by Jerry. I don't anticipate any discussion, but is there any? Okay, all those in favor? Congratulations, Beth. We have satisfied our requirement to the state.
And once again, this was not included in the work session because Beth's first day was Monday. So it was not in, so.
Yeah, just a bookkeeping point of order. Okay, the announcements, community meeting about the assessment vote. We've talked about this before, I think. Tuesday, the 4th of October, 6 p.m. at Lake Point. We can't meet at Reardon Hall anymore. We've got to go to Lake Point. The Recreation JAC, Monday, October 10th, here in the boardroom. Lakes JAC, Wednesday, the 12th, 2 p.m. in the boardroom. Golf JAC, Wednesday, the 12th, 4 p.m. in the boardroom. Rules and Regs meeting, Thursday, October 13th at 1:30 p.m. here in the boardroom. That meeting is open to the public. If you have any questions, I encourage you to come and participate. The Board of Directors GM meeting follows that meeting at 2:30 on Thursday the 13th here in the boardroom. This, however, is a closed meeting. Board of Directors work session, Thursday, October 20th, 9 a.m. in the boardroom. And the October regular session meeting, Thursday, October 27th at 6 p.m. in the boardroom. And with that,
We have two items from the weekly Vista. First is not on this agenda, but on October 4th at Lake Point, we're going to have the Mayor's Forum. Third,
not the 4th.
4th is when we do it, thank you. On October 3rd. And also, there was a picture on, I've notified the paper, there's a picture of Reardon Hall, and it said that the work would be completed in 6 months. We've never said 6 months. We've always said 9 to 12. And so we've asked them to put in a correction, but wanted to let the community know that that was an error, and they apologize for that.
Yeah. Okay, with that, I believe we've reached the end unless there are any other items? Meeting is adjourned. Please turn off your microphone.